Faces dropped on a new edition of Soccer Down here. It's a Wednesday. It's a Wall Pass Wednesday. It is time to talk about Manchester City, your champions of England. Is this Pep's greatest accomplishment during his time at City? He thought it was. We'll get into that. We'll talk about Barcelona. Dude. 2-0 lead. Nope. 3-2 lead. No. 3-3 draw. Not good. Not good at all. We'll talk about MLS tonight as well, and Mike Conti will join us at 10 o'clock. It is a Wall Pass Wednesday, so we'll take your questions as well. Hopefully everybody is finding gasoline for their cars, because that seems to be a little bit of an issue, a little bit of a freak out, eh?
Well, looking at Coco says all the gas stations around Jackson have a $20 limit right now, so you're only allowed to put like 7 or 8 gallons or 6 if you have to use premium right now.
Okay. Yeah.
So I can speak a little bit to this.
Oh, Jared Smith comes in on the gasoline crisis. Thank you, Jared.
Drops the elbow out of the blocks.
Yeah, I have an acquaintance of mine I play softball with who works at one of the gas stations, and he described it as, he said, we went to the trouble of putting signs on every gas pump to let people know that all we had was regular unleaded. No premium, no whatever. I never put the premium in my car.
The middle.
The mid-grade. I just put regular in mine. We're at the point of diminishing marginal returns with my car.
I can relate.
Point is, dude, if I ever get to where the beast was, I'll be very happy with myself. Point is, I digress. He put the signs up. He said people kept hitting the help button on the gas pump. And he said, if you've never heard the siren inside the gas station when the help button goes off, he said it's loud, it's obnoxious. It's the kind of button you hear if someone sets the gas pump on fire. He said, imagine hearing that every 10 seconds all day because people can't read. They hit the help button and go, yeah, you've got no premium, which he had to just basically keep saying, read the sign, please. Just read the sign.
I need to go to a Kroger gas station because I've got a bunch of Kroger points I need to cash in. I think it's that time.
Yeah, I think so. I think that'd be the play.
Yeah, there's a couple that are close. It wouldn't normally be a big deal, and I'm fine for most of the week. John and I will be calling Georgia High School Association state finals from McEachern on Thursday. And then Friday, I'm going down to Mercer to call games in Macon. So I'm going to need to make sure I'm gassed up by then. I need to hit a Kroger gas station.
Accurate.
I got a bunch more points than that, Domer. I got a bunch of Kroger points. I'm going to be cashing them in.
I mean, in this era with gas shortages, you might be needing to cash those in, bud.
Oh, no, it's time. This is why you save those Kroger points. Also because there's not
I mean, this might be a time where you gotta like sell those off.
No, I'm going to use them for myself.
The open market.
I got to drive to Macon. So, I mean, if I didn't have to drive to Macon, yeah, I might be saying, hey, you want to get a good deal on Kroger gas? Come pick me up. I'll bring my card and you can buy me some stuff, and then we'll be good to go.
See, that'd be the play. You sit there, you broker your Kroger card points.
Strummer, John, I'll take the $1 limit per gallon. I'll take it. It's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. I might be able to fill it up a couple times.
This is very much a little bit of something's better than a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah. I'll take it. Coco's driving to New Orleans this weekend. If I can make it down to Hattiesburg, then I'll be out of the pipeline territory and into the Gulf gas. It doesn't go through the shortages. Okay.
True. Good point.
Strummer, if I had more Kroger gas stations near me, I would use the points more. I don't have any that are all that convenient to me. I have to go out of the way to go to them, so a lot of times I don't use it as much as I should. If I had one nearby, I would use it all the time because that's my usual grocery store. So anyway, there's your gas and grocery
stuff. Y'all got this
stuff.
inner city living inside the perimeter where it feels like Kroger's aren't nearly as abundant.
Kroger's are abundant, just Kroger gas stations.
Kroger gas is not.
Well, you've got one close to you, John. You can't really get into this conversation.
Literally, it's just around the corner and down the hall.
Yeah, you've got one close. I don't. Up the hall.
Down the hall.
Down the
it's just down the hall.
It's a road. What? Anyway, that one is probably the closest one to me, and it's not close. And there's one like way down on Moreland, which I will hit on the way to Macon. Hopefully, they have gas on Friday. Anyway, Kroger in Union Grove. No, I'm not in Henry County, Riley. I'm up in the city now, so I can hit the one on the way.
Do they have a gas station at the Murder Kroger?
No. There's no room for that. The new Murder Kroger though is really nice, really really nice. They did a good job with it. It's still the Murder Kroger. They'll tell you it's the Beltline Kroger. It's the Murder Kroger. It's always going to be the Murder.
Don't
Kroger.
whitewash them. Don't whitewash this city's history.
No, you can't do it. It's really nice though. I've shopped there a few times. It's not the most convenient for me. I usually go to the other one, the other way on Briarcliff. But anyway, now we're getting really deep into stuff that you guys don't care about. So we're sorry. We apologize.
Gasoline down here.
Yeah, basically. Kroger down here.
Kroger down here.
Yeah, Kroger, if you want to sponsor us, we'll take it.
Yes.
I shop at your store all the time, so it'd be cool. Anyway, Manchester City, champions, not a surprise. Manchester United fielded a second choice or third choice lineup yesterday because they play again tomorrow, and people were really bent out of shape, and there's threats about sanctions. They played Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do there? You can't play everybody in all those games. It is physically impossible. Do you want to injure people?
Suck it up and take it.
Do you want people injured because of your competitive integrity? Well, then they should have played the game at whatever time they could get Old Trafford cleared after people broke in and vandalized things and, had COVID issues with breaching COVID areas that needed to be cleaned, and that's why you couldn't play the game that day. So that's why you have this. And look, it doesn't help Liverpool either. They're not going to be in a great position here, and they're still trying to fight into the top four. I guess maybe there's this thing, well, they should have played their first team against Leicester and not against Liverpool. Well, you can't really, there's really not much you can do there. Come on. Anyway. Yeah, just play every day. Yeah. Play 90 minutes every day. It'll be fine. They did that when they were 12. It'll be okay.
Back in my day, we walked both
I wish
uphill
I
in
had
the
that much
snow.
energy in my life.
Yeah, no, not true. So Manchester United lost to Leicester yesterday. That means Manchester City are your champions. Pep said it was the most difficult of their championships. It's 5-10 for them. Is that correct, John?
5-9.
5-9, even better. I was trying to take away credit from Manchester City. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Or are we now freaking out about the competitive balance of English football? You are our resident English snob, John. Fill us in.
I don't know why you'd be freaking out about competitive balance. I mean, it's still you still have the big seven going at it, but right now, you look at what Manchester City's done, and Liverpool had the metric crap ton of injuries. And I know that a lot of folks were sitting there and thinking that they would compete. But when you have the metric crap ton of injuries, you're not going to be a part of the process. So Leicester, you're always waiting for the big fade from Brendan Rodgers late in the year. Chelsea, they're improving. So I think that this particular year with Manchester City, they were the ones that just got through it the most unscathed and ended up on top. The healthiest. I mean, they were the healthiest. They were the healthiest and the deepest, and they got through it. Liverpool had all the injuries, especially at the back. One of the worst places you could have the injuries. Chelsea, you had Frank Lampard, so you had a coaching change, and Tommy Tuchel is showing what Chelsea can be. And obviously, folks, next season will want that to continue to be back to be a part of the discussion. Spurs, they're at the bottom of the big seven for me. Arsenal, they're at the bottom of the big seven for me. So, it's a combination of things, and the rest of the big seven trying to figure themselves out. I don't think that, with Manchester City continuing to invest the way that they are, I could see them continuing their run, but Pep Guardiola has said he anticipates folks that will be leaving in the offseason. But how do you fill those holes? And that will be the challenge for Manchester City next year if they want to repeat.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna ask for a statement here.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's easy. Read between the lines.
So, to read between the lines of what you said, John, you're basically not giving Manchester City credit.
I am.
They were just healthy. Everybody else wasn't. So
I said they were the healthiest and one of the deepest, is what I said.
But when Pep said this was the hardest to win, you're kind of throwing a lot of cold water on Mr. Guardiola.
Not at all, considering what the country has had to go through and multiple competitions and all that kind of stuff. But no, I understand completely that this was one of the hardest to do. And
That's a lot of ice water you threw on Pep there. That's a lot of ice water.
As someone who appreciates Pep Guardiola, I wouldn't throw cold water on Mr. Guardiola, sir.
I don't know, Jarrett. I mean, I think it was a really difficult campaign, and where I give City a lot of credit is Pep has made some tweaks, not massive tweaks, but some tweaks to the way they play. And they did not start well. I mean, what was it, a month, 2 months in? They were middle of the table, and people were talking about, oh, no, here we go. Manchester City's falling off, blah, 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 blah. So does Pep get credit in your mind for bouncing back after a bad start?
Yeah, because I think we talked in January about, hey, it kind of feels like a thing that Manchester City might run away with this thing. They started doing that in January or December, where like
I think it was January where it turned.
Yeah, Christmas.
Yeah,
the
because it started bad.
Kind of open, and we were trying to figure out. We weren't trying to figure out the top four. We were trying to figure out who was going to win the damn thing. And then Manchester City just decided they wanted to win it, and so they did. And they had one or two slip-ups, maybe. Everyone else was having slip-ups. I mean, that was the thing for me is City had a couple of slip-ups here, and it wasn't catastrophic, but they had a couple of them where, you know, they kind of tripped over their shoelaces a bit, but everyone else was tripping over their shoelaces too. And it's just such a I'm going to assume, and you know, Pep can clarify this if he wants to. I'm going to assume. I mean, he talks about being tough. I mean, it was tough though. It was a tighter race, I feel like, than we've had in the last few years. Granted, remember last year Liverpool wins the damn thing. It felt like they won the damn thing by Easter.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was the run where I think they had 20 unbeaten at one point. But here's how the season started for them. They were balancing Gummy Bear Cup with the regular season. Remember, they lose to Leicester
Nobody
City.
balances the Gummy Bear Cup with regular season.
It's
the Gummy Bear Cup.
Then let's get into the regular season. Leicester City bumps them off 5-2 at the end of September.
Yeah.
Leeds gives them the 1-1 draw in October. You beat Arsenal 1-0. Then you're into group stage of Champions League at that point. You draw West Ham. You only beat Sheffield United 1-0. You drew Liverpool. Tottenham beats you just short of Thanksgiving 2-0. Then you're still in group stage. Then things start to turn around Thanksgiving where you knock off the teams that you should in group stage. And then, you know, there's the draw with West Brom in mid-December. And then around Christmas was when they turn it on.
What was the run of games they went with without a loss? 20 plus?
Yeah. So let's see.
I want to say don't add them up because, John, it might take you like 2 hours.
Well, I was going to say you're talking and I'm adding. That's what I was doing.
Jarrett, we're going to lose John for at least the first hour of the show while he adds this up. That's not fair. Yeah, you know.
I mean, it's impressive to me because it was a closer race than you've had in years past. Manchester United.
No, you've had some close races.
Away.
Yeah, that's. You've had some close races. You had close races with Liverpool. I think Riley's comment that is very unfair, in my opinion. He says they deserve as much credit as PSG should the last couple of years. PSG hasn't had competition. Manchester City and Liverpool have been very competitive. And look, I still hold to what we said before the season started. The Premier League is turning into, I mean, we can talk Big Six all day. It's a terrific two, if we're going to call it that. Because Manchester City and Liverpool are a step beyond the rest. Liverpool was not this year because of the injuries. The others are not at the same level. So, I mean, comparing to PSG, Riley, at least they have somebody they are battling with on a regular basis. And go back over the last few years where City and Liverpool have had those battles. But it is turning into a situation where those two just have more money to compete. Now Chelsea is throwing that cash around and getting there. Ron Digital's very angry, our Arsenal fan, Jarrett. I don't know when Arsenal gets back into this conversation, Ron. You tell me.
Ask Ron, how Ron feels about Arteta.
If
you don't feel like Arteta's the guy to get you back into that.
No, and here come the Spurs fans too. So this is what I'm going to ask Ron, Sean, the Arsenal and Spurs element of the Big Six. When are those two teams going to be a title contender again? Give me a timeline. Give me a rough timeline. Because I don't see it. I don't see them competing for players with City, with Liverpool, and with Chelsea. Now, Manchester United's the one that don't know. Are they going to spend the right way now? Because this is the time you have to. You've created the foundation. You're in a good spot. You had a good year. I don't know if Ole's manager of the year because he got into second, but he had a good year. But you need more to compete with those big two when they're both fully healthy. Because Chelsea can, and Chelsea will next year with Thomas Tuchel. I don't know when Tottenham and Arsenal are in that mix again. If anytime soon.
Yeah.
I really don't know when that happens. Katie, who another one of our Spurs fans, as long as we finish above Arsenal. Ron says we are where we are.
I come for.
Yeah. Ron says we are where we are. My point is it's the most competitive league in Europe. It is. No, that's absolutely true on a regular basis. And this isn't a one-off like France is really competitive this year. Well, it hasn't been for a long time. Spain is competitive with the three teams it's generally competitive with. Italy
is competitive with incompetence this last few weeks, and it's my favorite part is that everyone. It's like watching a bunch of people run a race who are afraid of the finish line.
The thing about it, Ron, for me is the Premier League is the most competitive league in Europe. That doesn't mean it's all that competitive. That's the problem. When Manchester City and Liverpool are healthy and have normal seasons, Leicester, Tottenham, Arsenal are not going to be able to touch them. It's just a fact. Mm-hmm. If they make bad signings, if they have a bunch of injuries, and Tottenham and Arsenal play at the very best of their capabilities, okay, sure. Cup competitions, sure. In a season, Chelsea can be there too because of what they can do on the spending side and what they have in their roster currently. They've done well. Manchester United, you would think would. We'll see if they actually do. That's competitive. That's good. Yeah. But it's still 2, maybe 3, probably 3 right now, maybe a 4th if Manchester United has a good offseason. I guess that's great. I guess that's what we want, I guess. Coco, I agree. If City and Liverpool are at their height, the way Manchester United's currently structured, they can't touch them either. If they actually spend and actually take advantage of being maybe one of the biggest commercial clubs in the world, then it's a different conversation. But they haven't. So,
and with Ed Woodward not around, I want to see what it looks, what they're chasing and what their spending is in the offseason.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I don't, and I'm not an Arsenal or a Spurs fan, so I mean, and they're in different situations too. I mean, I think Arsenal is gonna feel more ticked off about it than Tottenham has because Arsenal's been in title races in the last few decades. Sorry, Spurs fans. I don't know how else to really say that gently.
What Spurs fans have been chasing.
They've been chasing it. They haven't gotten there, and now the race has gotten further away from them. Arsenal was there. Arsenal was in that race, and now the race has gotten too far away from them.
Well, is it fair to say that Spurs, panicked because you were at the precipice with Pochettino? You made the change because you needed to make the change, and then you brought in a guy who you thought we can just get the trophy, get it over with, and then we can figure out a rebuild after that, and it didn't work.
Which puts you further behind in the chase.
All that's fine, but Tottenham wasn't going to win the Premier League under Pochettino or anybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to win anything right now.
Yeah, true. I mean, they made the wrong move in who they hired, but Pochettino took them as far as they could go. And then it got sour, and there were bad dealings with contracts and transfers and all kinds of things that ended up necessitating a move. And it wasn't necessary. They had to move on from Pochettino because it was flatlining. Yeah, I mean, Ron, yeah, it literally is what it is. That's it. I don't know if that's, you guys would have to tell me like how exciting that is to go into a season knowing that you need everything to go perfectly for you involving your players playing above their heads, 4, 5, 6 other teams having catastrophic injuries or horrible dealings in the transfer market or drama or whatever to have a chance of winning the title. It kind of stinks.
Yeah. To answer our question with the math, from Thanksgiving until March the 7th, Manchester City was unbeaten in 28 straight competitions across England and Europe. They had 14 Premier League wins in a row at one point.
Yeah, it's impressive. Is Pep the manager of the year?
Yes.
I think he probably is too. I don't know if there's another compelling story to have it be somebody else.
It's not Roy Hodgson, I'll tell you that.
Wow, why the Roy Hodgson slander straight out of the gate? What'd he do?
The blatantly averageness of Crystal Palace.
Well, I mean, blatantly average doesn't mean you have to go smack him upside the head. That's kind of harsh.
Well, then let me ask you this. What about Tommy Tuchel with what he did at Chelsea? I mean, he should get consideration. I don't think he gets it, but I think that what he did...
Yeah, but he won't get it over Pep.
No.
David Moyes will get consideration, and he will definitely get votes for what he's done. There's no way around that.
Yeah.
Probably Moyes number 2 would be my guess, and Pep gets it. But if it's Moyes 1 because Manchester City won the title and has done what they've done over the years, that's fine.
I get it.
I get it. I think what Pep did was even more impressive, but if it's Moyes, that's completely fine. He's had an amazing year at West Ham.
Yep. And, I mean, that'd be about it for me. I mean, Manchester United, Ole, Brendan Rodgers. Yeah, for me, it would be Pep, Moyes, and probably Tuchel 1, 2, and 3.
It won't be Big Sam for saving West Brom. Why
not? What happened, Jason?
Well, West Brom is now trying to figure out if they're going to roll with Big Sam in the championship, or if Big Sam's going to roll in the championship. I don't know if he wants to live that life. If they don't get him, according to the Daily Mail, oh boy, they're looking at Chris Wilder.
Yeah.
Yay!
That'll lock it down for you.
Fill us in on what Chris Wilder has done lately.
Yeah. Sheffield United, right now, with 2 matches to go, they are 5 wins, 2 draws, 28 losses, 18 goals scored on the season in 35 matches. So that's basically a 0.5 per game. 62 goals allowed in 35 matches. So that puts you at about 1.6.
Why? Why would you? Why? Isn't there somebody new and young and fresh who might actually not have that record on their CV at the moment? There's got to be somebody in England who can take that job, right?
You'd think.
Why?
It kind of all has an SEC feel to it, though. That like you're going to be almost. You got to be the right team to make that decision to bring in that young manager. You want to bring in somebody who is. These teams want to bring in somebody who's done it somewhere else, and they don't. I feel like they don't a lot of times want to be the laboratory for some young manager,
and that's the problem. That's the problem with.
I don't disagree, but I mean that's the way it is because you have to win now.
Well,
you have to survive now, I should say. I guess.
Well,
But-
and what they're trying to do, the rationale for a lot of those clubs in the championship is, okay, we've got to get back, and so let's find somebody who's been in the Premier League, and that's when you get all the recycles. And unfortunately, there's a lot of the recycles aren't that good
because they get you into the Premier League, then they get you relegated in the Premier League, and then you go back, and it's actually, if you have any huevos, it's actually time to hire somebody who, because you're going down into the championship with a lot of money, with a squad that should be better than anybody you're going to play. It should be easy for you to go back. In most situations, there's always some that you have financial issues that lead you down, and then that's a different conversation. But in West Brom's case, I don't know of any massive financial issues that they are facing at the moment. They should go down with a squad that should be favorites to go back up. Give the job to somebody who's on the rise, who can prepare a team to go up and stay up over a couple of years, rather than somebody who, sure, they can get you there and then get you right back where you started from, back getting relegated. It's just, I don't know. Would like to see a change. Harry Kane's he going to be at Tottenham next year? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah? You don't sound excited.
He has. I think he's got how many years left on his deal? He's got a couple.
Contracted through June of 24. Signed a 6-year deal in 2018. Might be regretting that 6-year deal. That's a long one.
Right. Yeah, and I think that they need to do Kane a solid if he wants to go, and I know that both Manchesters are interested in him, and I understand the trepidation of Spurs in wanting to sell him to one of those two, one of them who is definitely better than you, and right now the second one is also better than you. And where are you financially? And I think that this is the Daniel Levy question for me. Could you use the $200 million that you could get for Harry Kane and Heung-min Son? I think the answer is yes. But I don't. I think that this is, once again, you're caught in between ideas of a new stadium. Next season, you should have full capacity. You'll have your stars. You want to bring folks in. You'll have the revenue source of Kane and Son. But how happy will they be if they're not chasing after championships? And that, to me, is the larger point here. I know that you need the money, so then get the money for those two guys, reinvest it, and rebuild. But the egos that are attached in a situation like this is like, no, we need to keep them so we can fill our seats, so we can get the money. And so, but you risk not being competitive in chasing after one or two or a three spot. So that's the conundrum for Daniel Levy. I would sell, but that's just me. I'm not the one trying to find a sponsor for the name of a new stadium that hasn't had a whole lot of people in it yet so far in the year and a half that it's been available.
Jared, I think it probably comes down to who their managerial hire will be too, right?
Yeah, I think so. Are you going to take one more crack at this with what you got? Or are you going to move these pieces for an obscene amount of money? And potentially, instead of having two great players and then trying to fill the rest of it, you could take this money if you're smart and you bring in, the right people. You can rebuild this. You can look at what Liverpool did and say, we could, if we get the right hire in here, and if we're patient, which is a big part of it, we can do a Liverpool sort of thing, sell these guys for an obscene amount of money. Now, you're not going to get a deal like Liverpool got from Barcelona for Coutinho, because I don't know that anyone's ever going to get a deal like that again in the history of man or time or space. That deal is going to keep paying off till like 2083.
They've got to be out of clauses on that deal by now. There can't be any more hidden clauses,
because it's almost like too many cooks, where it went on for so long it stopped being funny, and then it kept going on and it became funny again.
I mean, if Coutinho wins MasterChef before the year 2040, like they get another bonus amount of millions of dollars. I mean, is that what we're looking at?
What's going to happen is Liverpool gets another £100,000 if he goes on British Bake Off and gets a handshake from Paul Hollywood.
There you go. That's got to be in there somewhere.
It's got to be in there. But I think you can look at that and say, we could do that if we sell these guys, and if we're smart and we get $200 million for these two, we can kind of rebuild things. But do you want to be patient when you've got a new stadium and you're kind of in that situation that, we've seen even locally with the Braves and the Falcons, if you open a new stadium and you want to be competitive out of the gate because you want to build off of, hey, we're going to be competitive, we're going to be competing for championships in our brand new home, that we want you to pack out. It's a weird balancing act, especially when they're in the situation they are, where you look at them right now. The Spurs aren't a team as it looks that are going to go win a trophy right now. So what do? Do you desperately flail and try one more time and then risk possibly having guys walk on you? Or do you just, pull the plug on it now and take the money and rebuild it?
It's a tough spot. I
sell
would
Kane and raid Leal. I mean, come on.
I would look at something like that, but a lot of it's going to depend on who they hire as the manager. Speaking of which, Jarrett, Talk Sports' Alex Crook says Eddie Howe will be the next Celtic manager. The delay is due to a Bournemouth playoff run.
Secret.
Yeah, I know. What you think?
I'm fine with it. It's not John Kennedy. It's not Neil Lennon.
Yeah.
It's all cool.
Yes.
Yeah, that's honestly about where it is.
That's one way to look at it.
No, it's a good hire. I think it's a good hire. I'm intrigued by Eddie Howe taking it. I'll be curious to see what he says. It's such a weird spot if you have been that guy at a club like Bournemouth and time comes up. Do you do what Chris Wilder's talking about doing and jumping to another club who's basically the same kind of club but bouncing back and forth? Or do you go to Scotland and go to Celtic where the league title is in play every year for you at Celtic, but you're also looking at advancing in European competition? It's just a different challenge. So Eddie Howe, did about as well as you could possibly do with a club like Bournemouth. Can he do something like that to that level, that punching above your weight? Can he do that with a club that has all the weight in Scotland but doesn't have the weight in Europe, Jarrett? Can he be as revered as he was at Bournemouth for doing what he did with them? Can he do that at Celtic?
Well, it's going to be a rebuild. It's a lot of it. Because you're going to have guys moving off in the summer. You're going to have to not just rebuild part of that squad. You're going to have to rebuild the mentality, and you're going to have to rebuild the trust in the fans. Because right now, you're still in a point where the fans have gotten to a point beyond angry. Now a lot of times they're just kind of apathetic, which is honestly worse.
Yeah, it's worse.
Yeah.
They don't care. The league's done. Oh, you lost 2-0 to Rangers? Whatever. At one point, John Kennedy pulled off like a striker and put a left back on. Went down 2 goals on the road. It was amazing. It was all-inspiring.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to do a lot of rebuilding there, and I think if he's able to pull that off and get them back on top of Scotland, especially if he does it against a Gerrard-led Rangers team, I think that is something he puts on his CV and shows to everyone south of Scotland and says, you saw what I did at Bournemouth. Now look what I did rebuilding this once European name who had fallen on hard times.
It's a smart move for Eddie Howe if he can get the job done right the way he wants. It's a very smart move for him. One other managerial rumor, according to reports out of Italy, Tottenham have identified Lazio Simone Inzaghi as a possible option to be their next manager. Ropes with a question before we move into MLS for tonight. What's the average age for Premier League managers? Now, I don't have the current numbers, but I have a breakdown of the average age of managers in the top leagues from 17-18. So it's a couple years ago, but I think the trends are basically the same. The Premier League was the oldest at just a shade under 50 years as the average age. Most of them were right around that because they only had one manager at that time over the age of 60, which was Arsene Wenger. Germany was 5 years younger than the Premier League, 44.6 years. Spain was the average age 50.45. Actually, no, it was slightly older than England. My bad. I wonder if that's changed. France, older too, 51.4. So all of them right around 50. Italy, 49.8, slightly under the Premier League. Portugal, young like Germany, 44.5. The U.S. at this point, the Eastern Conference in 2017-18, average age of 42.6, younger than any of these other leagues. The Western Conference was 47.6, and that was thrown a little bit by Siggy Schmidt, who was 64 at that time. Average age as a whole for MLS was 47.6. Mexico, the average was 47 at this point. Be curious to see if any of that's changed, but Germany would tend to go younger. Portugal went young. England, Spain, Italy, France, right around 50 years old. That's the average.
Sorry, I was doing click marks. Currently, right now, in the Prim, you've got one under 30, one in their 30s, eight in their 40s.
Caretaker under 30, right?
Right, yeah, Mason.
Yeah.
Arteta is the only one that's under 40 at 39. You've got 8 that are in their 40s, 5 in their 50s, 4 in their 60s, and Roy Hodgson at 73.
Also on the MLS side, since we mentioned it just now, and we're going to get into the games tonight now, Stephen Goff reports that Chris Goslin, former Atlanta United homegrown, 21 years old now, is on trial in Europe. He had been a couple of different times. Goff says he's likely to train with multiple clubs in search of a contract. He was in Lithuania early last year before the pandemic and then came back to the U.S. during the pandemic. So he is trying to find a club in Europe right now. I'm guessing he's healthy, and that's always been the problem for Chris is, you know, his U17 World Cup run, he looked like a guy that would be in the national team by now. He looked like he was that good. And he hasn't been healthy since. He hasn't been consistently healthy since. And if he can get healthy, we'll see. But he's got some making up to do of that time because, you know, Jared, I know he's always been a favorite of yours, but he hasn't played consistently since that World Cup.
No, and that's why he was a favorite of I think, a lot of people. Was you go back to the U19 World Cup, he showed what he could be. Like, there were flashes in that World Cup. There was the one game, I believe it was Venezuela or Paraguay or Peru they played against, where he was the best player on the field that day. For 90 minutes, he just controlled the middle of that field like he was a puppeteer. And you saw what it could be. But, yeah, I mean, even in his time with Atlanta United, too, we only saw very, very brief flashes of him because he just had trouble staying healthy, had trouble staying on the field. And then even when he was, it seemed like it was at a time where Atlanta United 2 was bringing a lot of guys up from the academy and guys were coming down from the first team in positions that, you know, he sat into, and it was tough to kind of break into that. So if he's healthy, hopefully he can get a fresh start somewhere. He is still just 21, but, you know, hopefully he can at least stay healthy here and see what he can bring to the field for somebody.
Yeah, we'll see where he can land. It's kind of a weird spot to be in because he's a little bit older than a lot of clubs would be looking. But if he can find the right spot, and it's probably going to be a lower division club. I don't know about his EU passport situation, although if he was in Lithuania, and I want to say he was under contract, or maybe he was close to getting under contract, maybe he can get that squared away. I'm not 100% sure. But that's going to make it a little tricky. We'll keep you posted as best we see, but that's great on Stephen Goff to get that published out there so we know what's going on with Chris Goslin. I've been wondering what would happen with him. I hope he ends up somewhere. He had a ton of talent. I think he's still got the talent, but can he stay healthy? We just don't know. All right, let's get into the games tonight. First off, it's a little shocking to see Columbus has already changed their logo.
Yeah, they wasted no time. That happened in the standings right as the announcement was made.
That's really bizarre, but okay. I don't think they change it on the kits until next year, but whatever. Toronto is hosting Columbus tonight. Toronto has just signed Dom Dwyer, which he's been training with them for a while. That doesn't make you feel too good about the situations with Josie Altidore. Toronto is a slight favorite, not at home, but in Central Florida.
Actually, it's flipped on mine in the composite.
No,
so.
BetMGM at MLS does not have it that way.
Yeah. And we have to do fantasy today then, don't we?
Yes.
Toronto in the composite at odds portal is a plus 164. Your draw is a plus 248, and Columbus is a plus 159.
BetMGM's got it plus 145. Toronto plus 160 for Columbus. Basically a toss-up at a neutral site. It's at Exploria Stadium in Orlando. Jarrett, do you have any strong feelings about this match?
I do.
Whoa.
I do.
I did not see that coming.
Pro Columbus feeling, because I don't think Chris Armas has everything in place yet. I think Columbus wins this, and I think the heat on Chris Armas gets turned up even more.
Man,
we talked for Chris Armas.
Yeah.
This isn't me flaming Chris Armas. Let me get ahead of you on this. This isn't me flaming Chris
No,
Armas.
no, I didn't think you were.
About Chris Armas.
No, I didn't think you were.
Okay, cool. I'm just making sure.
No.
I want to see what he can do with a healthy team that's not, going to be crippled.
There's that.
It is something. He may have fallen into the trap of following the guy. Don't follow the guy. Follow the guy who follows the guy.
Yes.
And he's thought that there he is right now.
Chris Armas right now.
Yeah, Chris. That'd be Greg Vanny, actually. But
could be Dom Dwyer.
Adam John scored more goals in MLS recently than Dom Dwyer, so I'm just leave it there.
Man.
But I think that Armas is just he may have made the mistake of following the guy, but he's also dealing with a very injured squad that has talent, as we've seen, got talent. But I think Columbus gets this done, and the heat gets turned up even more.
Jason Nick says, "How will he blow it tonight?" Knowing that I hate that narrative, because it takes away all the credit from Atlanta United beating the Red Bulls in that game because Chris Armas blew it, right? No, he didn't.
Both things can be true.
No, they can't. Not the way it's been portrayed. He's in a tough spot, and we said this when that hire happened, or when even the conversation started around it, because he's not Greg Vanny, and he doesn't have the track record of a Greg Vanny. So he comes in to replace Greg Vanny, and any hint of an issue, and it's a problem, and people are going to freak out. That's just the nature of it, and he knew that going in, I'm sure. He did really well to get past Leon, and the fact that now you're already seeing people freaking out about it after eliminating Leon from Champions League, which was an upset. I think a big upset with how injured that squad was. It shouldn't be this much heat. Soteldo, can he start tonight? Can he go 90? Can you get something out of that? I would go draw on this.
Yeah,
I'm leaning draw on this game.
I'm thinking just the short turn for both, and so the draw was where my thought was initially on it.
Dr. D asking about the brand for Columbus. Why would you want to hurt your brand this bad? I mean, they think they're not hurting it. That's the thing.
That's the thing.
They think it's good.
This is so insightful. It's in the shape of the Ohio State flag and all those things.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, you look, and this is just the eye test, and I'm trying not to be biased against it because I don't really like the logo. I didn't love the old logo either. Full disclosure, I think the old logo was kind of clown show with the construction workers on it. The second logo, the rebrand, was better, but it had way too much stuff going on in the middle of it. It was too busy. I didn't like that, but it was an improvement. This one is not an improvement. This one, when you look right now, I've got the MLS website over here, and it's got the games and the little logos. You look at the little logos, and you see Sporting Kansas City. Cool, looks like a normal logo. Austin looks like a logo. Cool with the green. Toronto looks like a logo. Miami, Montreal, circles. Yeah, I know there's a lot of circle logos. Okay, they look like team logos in this league. Philadelphia, same thing. New England, okay, it's the crayon flag. That's cool. That's different. That's old. I know it's got heritage. Cool. Houston, I like their rebrand. A lot of people didn't. Minnesota's a great logo. Vancouver's a good logo. San Jose's a good logo. Seattle's a good logo. DC, Chicago. That's what I see on the screen. I see this really dumb-looking C for Columbus, and it's a bad look.
It reminds me of a 90s arena football team.
why you got to hate on the Arena Football League at that time? It's not even that good. It's not even that good. It's not even that good. It's garbage. It looks like no, it's garbage. It's garbage.
I'm saying some of the Arena teams were some of the Arena logos were bad.
Some of them were bad.
This is the Zubaz era.
Some of them were bad. This looks like a fake cartoon sports league with fake teams that don't exist because you don't have the rights to actually have real logos. This looks like the generic, like, I was going to say Columbus Soccer Club, but that's what they're actually called. So, maybe that would be the right way to do this. It's the game, the video game that doesn't have the rights to real players and teams and has to make it up. It looks like one of those logos. It's horrendous.
It's bad. That's so bad.
Yeah, it does kind of, now that you say that, it kind of reminds me of like in Madden back in the day when you would create a team and you just had generic logos.
It's Mutant League Football generic logo is what it is.
I think I told you they remade Mutant League Football.
I probably need to play it, but it's
oh my god, you have to. They remade it and they put it on every new console. It's amazing.
It is Piemonte Calcio.
Everything is just laden with puns, and it's like the Atlanta Dead Vultures with star wide receiver Julio Bones.
Nice.
No,
it is absolutely astounding.
This is a logo from Baseball Stars on the original Nintendo. I mean, it's horrible, and I hate that they went ahead and just slammed it in already. That's too much time on a bad logo. All right. Miami is a massive favorite over Montreal in the stadium that they're sharing currently. Massive favorite.
That they are. Minus 147. Your draws a plus 286. Club de Foot, north of plus 400 at a 409 in the composite.
Jarrett, those numbers feel a little out of whack.
Club de Foot is missing Mason Toy, who was actually doing pretty solid for them, and my boy is letting me down. Bjorn Mars Johnson cannot apparently find the back of the net, which is kind of a problem.
All right, go no video, go just audio. Because I'm running off the hotspot right now. I don't think it'll be able to handle video. All right, I'm going to go back to the logo and bring it back up now. All right, you guys might be able to hear us. Please let us know if you can. No video at the moment because we are running off a hotspot as we try to navigate the internet dying at my headquarters. Really weird. No power, no issues, but the internet completely died on my end. Yeah, out of nowhere. That was really strange. If you guys out there in the Twitch pitch can hear, please let us know.
Because I criticized. I thought you just canceled the show because I was talking about Montreal too much.
No. I mean, I was a little disappointed about how down you were on Montreal, but yeah, I did not cancel the show at that point. Yeah, everything's going nuts right now on my end. Sorry about that. It's chaos. I don't know why the internet died, and now you got cats attacking Jarrett. Good grief. Jared, are you okay? Did the cats end you?
No, the cat wants food.
Oh, well, that's good. Well, they can't hear us on the Twitch pitch. If you're listening on the app and you can hear us, let us know. It still says it's live, but I don't know if it's reconnected. So tweet at us at Soccer Down Here and let us know if you can hear us. Wonderful stuff. Always good when your internet dies in the middle of a show.
Yes. Oh, so Jared, go ahead and finish your point about club to foot when you and I were talking and Jason was trying to figure out how to get things squared away.
I mean, is it safe to do that?
It's very dangerous.
Sure
Thierry Henry might end you.
Whatever, man. It's club to foot is, I think they're showing they're better than what people might have expected early in the season, and they might, they kind of come back down to earth. I think closer to, as John mentioned, closer to what we might have expected, but there's still enough there right now for me to think they're going to be able to steal a scalp here or there. Now, that might just mean a draw tonight against a Miami team that might be tired. We'll see.
I'm still not touching it. Not touching it.
I'm not touching it, but I think that Miami being such a huge favorite is a little much. I don't think they should be favorited by that much, but I'm not really touching this game because of. All right, I think we might actually be back with full internet and everything now. We are going to see if we can get all reconnected, and we'll maybe try that one more time for the Twitch audience. But yeah, I'm not trusting Miami here as that big of a favorite. I am just not trusting it. All right. The internet is back, it appears. So, again, if you are listening on the app and you can hear weird things make noises that I don't know what they are. Oh, man, I love this show sometimes. All right, we might actually be live with a connection in Twitch. Hopefully, you can hear us. And we might try to have video. Yes, it's not a hot mic, Dr. D. It's called a show, and we're trying to make it work again. Yeah, you don't have video. We explained all that when you couldn't hear us. We know, people. We know. I'm talking to you.
We need to put up an audio-only banner.
No, we don't, because hopefully this never happens again. Okay, we are going to try to reconnect in full normal ways with video. Or not, as everybody goes away. Let's try that again. And we will try to get this back. Yes, I got the audio. Thanks, guys. We're working on it. We know. That's a good one.
There you go.
That is a good one. Okay. We are going to try, as I was saying, we're going to try to go back to video now, John.
Okay.
And we're going to try to go back to the show.
Okay.
As it doesn't want to do that, it seems like. Let's see if it will. When I do this, it won't. Good times. This is all lots of fun. I'm glad you guys can hear us. Yeah, I can see that, y'all. I got it. You don't actually even have any video. For some reason...
unfortunately, this is where I leave you.
And so. Jarrett's leaving because he's like, this is stupid. I'm out of here.
Well, remember, Jarrett, you've got to fix your fantasy team because fantasy starts tonight.
I'm in 80th place. I don't think it matters.
It does matter. You don't want to be in 80th place.
Oh, yeah, it could be worse. It could be in 90th place.
Yes.
Okay, bye.
Bye,
I'll
Jarrett.
Fix it. I'll send it to y'all.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, the video doesn't want to seem to work here, which is great. At least now it's working for John, but not for me, which makes no sense whatsoever.
That's weird.
We will try one more thing while John entertains you.
You're looking studious on the Twitch.
That was me trying to get things to work and them not working, which was not fun. All right. I think we're good now.
Okay.
Maybe. Allegedly. Probably not. Great. All right. John, while we're doing this, you are going to do your read, and you're going to have to maybe stretch a little bit today, so this could get out of hand.
Sure.
While we try to figure out what's going on with video, since the internet decided to try to ruin the show, it's always fun, isn't it? Mm-hmm. There's always something going on an SDH show. Mm-hmm. Just like there's always somebody you can call if you are in trouble in Decatur, GA, and his name is Steve Apolinsky.
Apolinsky and Associates, LLC, proud supporters of everything soccer down here in the SDH network for wrongful death and serious injury matters. One place you need to get in touch with, 3 different ways that you can do it. You can shoot Steve Apolinski an email directly, steve@aa-legal.com. Or you can pick up the phone. Get a free consultation by calling 404-377-9191 or option number 3. You can go on the World Wide Web, type in aa-legal.com in your address bar, hit the enter key, the return key, the arrow key, whatever advances you to the homepage, and you get all the information you would ever want about Apolinski and Associates LLC, all the different cases that they can handle for you, all the different awards that they have won, all the recognition that they have received is all in one place. And if you still have questions after looking at the homepage and working the pull tabs and seeing all the awards, there's a pop-up window that pops up, because that's what pop-up windows do. Strangely enough, they pop up 24/7, 365 and a quarter. Thank you, Chris Hutchison. Recognized as Legal Elite by Georgia Trend Magazine for being one of the top 100 firms in this here state of Georgia, with over 30 years of experience and over $40 million in judgments for their clients in Georgia and Alabama. There's only one place you need to go for wrongful death and serious injury matters. It is Apolinski and Associates LLC, and the website is aa-legal.com. And while you are still working, we did mention at the top of the show that we will be engaged at one of the 4 sites for the Georgia High School Association State Soccer Championships. And the venues and the finals have now officially been announced this morning. They're going to be on Thursday and Friday, and it's going to be at 4 separate sites around the state. Start times at the 4 sites are 5:30 and 8 o'clock, and you can watch on the NFHS network. 2 folks that you know, actually 3 folks that you know, will be involved in Thursday and Friday's action. We'll run down the gauntlet for you. Thursday in Savannah at Savannah Memorial Stadium, it's the 2A girls at 5:30, Bremen and Lovett. Lovett going for the double at 8 as they take on Pace Academy. Mercer, 5-Star Stadium, where Jason and I have been in the past. It is the 3A setup. AAA girls at 5:30. It's Westminster and Greater Atlanta Christian. 8 o'clock, Coahulla Creek and Westminster. Coahulla Creek making it this deep for the first time, if memory serves, in school history, part of the representation of Northwest Georgia and what we've seen out of the directional Whitfields, both Southeast and Northwest. Now Coahulla Creek gets added to the mix as well with Dalton. So they'll take on Westminster at 8 o'clock at 5-Star. Duluth on Thursday. It's your Quad A games. North Oconee and Marist are the girls. Southeast Whitfield is taking on East Hall in the boys Quad A matchup. That's at 8 o'clock. McEachern on Thursday, and that's where Jason and I will be. The 5A girls setup, St. Pius and Blessed Trinity. That's at 5:30. The boys, McIntosh and Johnson Gainesville. And so it's two schools that we know a great deal about. And that's at 8 o'clock at McEachern on Thursday. Friday at Savannah Memorial. Single A private starts what's going on at Savannah Memorial. Your private girls at 5:30, Holy Innocents and Pinecrest Academy. The private boys are Wesleyan and Atlanta International at 8 o'clock. 5-Star for Mercer on Friday is the public in Single A. Atlanta Classical and Armurchie making the trip all the way from West Georgia and Northwest Georgia down to 5-Star at 5:30. Public boys, Ace Charter. We've seen them before. We've also seen Georgia Military before. They're at 8 o'clock at Mercer. McEachern on Friday. It's the 6A classification. Girls, Cambridge and Johns Creek at 5:30 at 8 o'clock. In the boys, Johns Creek goes for the double as they take on Dalton. Dalton nationally ranked, and a lot of folks paying attention to what they're seeing with the Catamounts program. Duluth on Friday. It's the 7A girls and boys. Lambert going for the double, going up against Forsyth County. Basically, it's West Forsyth in the 7A girls and Lambert at 5:30. South Forsyth and Lambert is the matchup for the boys at 8. And so you have all of your matchups there. The GHSA is encouraging that if you go to any of these venues, stay safe, wear a mask, socially distance, wash your hands. Fans are requested to maintain social distance among their different groups. Once again, you can watch it on the NFHS network if you don't want to go to any of the venues. But once again, 2 dates, McEachern, Duluth, 5-Star, Savannah Memorial, Thursday and Friday. That's the GHSA rundown for the state soccer championships that we are going to thankfully and graciously be a part of once again, a couple of us here at SDH again for this season to the end of the soccer season in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, and the hope is Mike Conti will be part of that on Friday night as well. What's up, Mike?
What's Friday?
Georgia High School State Championships.
That is Friday. Yeah, we should probably talk about that off air. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I said hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. Well, we'll talk about it off air. I'm sure there's going to be some great games on Friday.
Yes, there will be. We can make all this work. Okay, so things are completely out of whack, Mike. The internet crashed. My video won't come up anymore. People are stuck watching John solo. You and I are just audio. I know. I know you can see me. I know John can see me. The people can't see me. It's very strange.
I mean, Jason blink twice if you're in Milwaukee.
I'm not.
He's wearing a blue shirt of some kind. He is wearing a hat.
Jason they saw me earlier. They just couldn't see me when the internet came back and it was frozen. And John's going to have to carry the show from a visual component.
I don't know if this helps from a technical standpoint, but when you called me here a minute ago, I got a double ring from Skype.
Yeah, so it's all out of whack.
I don't know if you have two Skype windows open or not.
No.
I mean, look, the show must go on, right?
Maybe it's British Skype where you get the funky double ring.
It could be. It could be that.
I am not in Great Britain.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm actually where I normally am, but this is what happens.
It's like he's in his usual spot.
Yes.
I mean, unless you have some kind of duplicate setup in a foreign country, which would be very impressive.
Yes, Coco thinks I am going to cheer Toronto on tonight and didn't want people to know because they think I am a closet Toronto fan.
Yeah, and that's probably the second hottest issue facing Atlanta United fans these days, how we stand on Toronto, right?
Of course, it is. It definitely is.
For some reason, they're our number one rivals all of a sudden.
Well, we're going through the games tonight, and we were in the midst of it, but when the internet crashed. So you can jump into this. Toronto hosting Columbus at Exploria Stadium. It's basically a toss-up at a neutral site, according to the odds makers. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I don't really know what to make yet of Columbus. I feel like what they did on Saturday was a step in a positive direction for them. I do think they were dealing with, I don't want to call it like a CONCACAF hangover, but just the effects of CONCACAF. And I thought outside of Zelarayan, they were really, really struggling. They weren't playing very well collectively. So I don't know if getting a win on Saturday was an outlier or maybe a step in the right direction for them. They're playing a team that's also coming out of CONCACAF and really, really struggled to balance both. And you're right, it is at a neutral site. So, I mean, on paper, you would think Columbus is clearly the more talented side, the more advanced side to this point. But I think the bookmakers are correct in calling this a toss-up because I think, kind of like with Atlanta United, I think with Toronto and Columbus, we haven't really seen them have a chance to put this all together yet because they've both been so strained from a match compression standpoint the first 6 weeks of the season. Columbus maybe slightly less. But Toronto too. I mean, both of them, I believe Toronto has only played 3 league matches, right? Am I right on that? I know Columbus has. Maybe I'm wrong with Toronto. But either way,
Toronto's played 3. Yeah, they just haven't won any.
Okay, so I mean, both of these teams had an off week in the league, but played CONCACAF. So, like I said, kind of like Atlanta United, I think just the strain of what both of these sides have had to deal with since really April 1st is it's gone away now, and let's see how they respond tonight. If I were betting, I'd say Columbus, but. Draw FC is looking pretty good in that one, too.
Yeah.
Right there.
Low-scoring Draw FC looks really good to me.
So what did you think about and you can pursue the particular if you want, but what did you think about the rollout of Columbus's new logo? That's
Tim Bezbachenko calling John right now.
Yeah, that's the complaint line. That's me on the complaint line. Look. I hate it. I hate everything about it. I don't want to get caught up in the hysteria about it because there is some hysteria, and I think some of the reaction has been a tad bit extra to it. But listen to your fans. Chicago made this mistake too. Listen to your fans. Listen to what your fans and your supporters are telling you. It sounds like their supporters groups were not even consulted on it. Not that they're required to be consulted, but let your fans and your supporters feel like they have a little bit of ownership over something like this. I just don't like first of all, I love their current crest. I know that's been polarizing. Some people don't like it. I actually really like their current crest. I don't like the new one. I think it looks like it was photoshopped by a fifth grader. So I guess you can't really call it the current crest anymore. The most recently retired crest. I really like that. And look, Columbus is a charter member of this league. That Crew moniker has 26 years of history behind it with success and a lot of notoriety. The first ever soccer-specific stadium in this league was named Columbus Crew Stadium, the site, by the way, of some very important U.S. men's national team victories over Mexico. They've won a couple MLS Cups as the Crew. Why are you walking away from that? And now I know, like, the whole rollout is, we're Columbus SC, we're the Crew. No, that's incomplete. I don't know why a team that has good history would try to walk away from that history and rebrand. I understand they're opening a new stadium and a lot of things are going to be fresh and new for them, but I just don't like it. And I think their fans who feel like they were left out of the process have a rightful complaint.
Yeah, I think the fans were kind of misled as well, which is the issue I have with it. I mean, they brought fans in for the video, the announcement video, but didn't tell them it was a rebrand. That's a problem. I mean, the fans are not always going to make all the business decisions for a team. Maybe there's a little bit of a misunderstanding on how it should go in that regard. But if you're going to use the fans to unveil your new logo, you should probably tell them what they're doing.
Yeah. You kind of want them on your side in that.
Rather than just, we're making a hype video. Not even on your side. Like, just literally tell them, hey, we are rebranding and we are doing a video for the rebrand. Would you like to participate?
Yeah,
exactly.
Instead of, we're doing a hype video. Come hang out. Oh, yeah, now we're using it to unveil our new brand. Like, that's pretty bad.
That's disingenuous completely.
That's pretty bad.
It is. But again, I think my bigger point is, why do they feel like they need to rebrand?
Oh, for sure. They don't. They could have even... I mean, people are hung up on the name. I think the branding is terrible with the new brand. I think it's awful. It looks like a generic team from a video game that doesn't have the rights to it.
Right.
But if you felt like you needed to rebrand the logo, okay. Dropping Crew from the name doesn't do anything for you. Like, this idea that you can't have nicknames in American soccer now, it's went all the way from the crazy, goofy names of the early MLS days and the early A-League and NASL and, I mean, the Edmonton Drillers and all these different things, the Quicksilvers and the Skyhawks. And, I mean, we can have all these crazy names. It went from that to, no, we need to be more traditional. Toronto FC, FC Dallas rebrand, all of that. To now, it's, no, we want the nicknames because everybody's going traditional. So there's a bit of whiplash there, but this doesn't benefit you. You're not better off being Columbus Soccer Club, but still kind of being the Crew. Like, they're still using it somewhat, kind of. That's the part that I'm just confused by the whole brand.
No, I agree. And I think they're repeating the same mistake that Montreal made. I mean, now, unlike Montreal, Columbus has a hideous crest. Montreal actually did a really, really good job with their crest. But again, like, why are you walking away from a nickname with the impact that has a little bit of legacy and history, even before MLS days? I don't understand. Look, I think here in North America, it is okay to embrace that, we're going to be a little bit different than the Premier League and the Bundesliga and the way they do things in Europe and the way they do things in South America and Central America. I think that's okay. Like, we're already different. We're a summer league. We're already different. We have a strict salary cap. We're already different. We play in American football stadiums in some markets. Like, it's okay to be a little bit different. It's okay. It's not going to make me enjoy the matches any more or less if I'm calling them the Columbus Crew as opposed to the Columbus Soccer Club. So I think that would just be my message to any other clubs that are looking at this. Like, I think Charlotte missed a real opportunity. And we talked about Charlotte and their crest. I like their crest. I like their colors. I thought Charlotte missed a really unique opportunity to be the racing club. You know, they're the birthplace, or not birthplace, the home of stock car racing. Lean into that. You know, you're already playing in an American football stadium in summer. Okay, it's not the same as the Premier League and everyone else. So lean into it. It's okay. Have a unique identity. Have a unique brand. Be different. It's okay. Your fans are not going to dislike you because you're trying to do something a little bit different. Your fans are going to dislike you if they feel like you're walking away from your heritage and history. And I think those are the mistakes that Columbus and Montreal have made. Columbus, the most recent.
Inter Miami and the other new rebrand, Club de Foot Montreal, are going at it at 7:30. One of the two 7:30 kicks, Mike. And yeah. Inter Miami, huge favorite at minus 147. Club de Foot has gone even worse. They're even more north of plus 400 now.
Yeah, I hate Mason Toye being out for them. In a way, you know, I hate him being out, but I wouldn't mind if he were out on Saturday. But yeah. But I hate that he's out tonight. Look, Montreal's probably, what would you say, second best player. So, and that could even be debated. So it's a big loss. I'd like to see him play. Look, Miami, I think this is going to be a really tricky turnaround for them because they kind of ran out of gas in the same way that Atlanta United ran out of gas in the second half Sunday afternoon. You don't have a lot of time to regen from Sunday afternoon to play Wednesday night. Especially when you could be playing again in conditions tonight. I don't know what the weather is going to be, but I'm assuming in May in Fort Lauderdale, it's probably going to be a little warm and humid. So I'll be really curious to see how Miami bounces back from that, because Miami could not even complete a full team sheet on Saturday. They had so many guys out.
Yeah, they had 3 goalkeepers in the game day.
Right. Matuidi got hurt. I haven't studied it, but I haven't really seen anything on him.
He's supposed to be back. I think Phil Neville said it wasn't serious, so he could feature today.
But we know that Figal is out. We know that they got a couple other guys out. So, I understand why Miami is the favorite in that match, and Montreal's starting to slide a little bit. But again, this is a match that feels like, to me, it's going to be low scoring, and a draw is extremely possible. Because, and really, Montreal does have an advantage in that they played Saturday. I know they also were on the road, but Miami is their home right now. I mean, essentially, this is they had no travel, basically. Yeah. So, you said Montreal was like plus 4 or something. Okay, yeah. I don't see Miami getting run off the pitch tonight. I don't see them getting shelled. I think there's a really, really good chance this too could be a low scoring draw.
I'm kind of there too. I'm surprised by the margin on the odds, but I think it could end up being a draw. I don't feel really great about either team here. And on short rest, I think these are 2 teams we haven't seen on short rest yet. So with both teams not exactly super deep, they might not be at their best. Could come down to individuals, which we see from time to time. And if that's the case, I think it's down to Gonzalo Higuain making something out of nothing, or it's down to Jordi Mihailovic making something out of nothing. He's the player that I look at for Club de Foot that could be a game changer for them. Let's go to the next one in PA. Philly hosting New England. Philly is a favorite, plus 115 on BetMGM. New England's plus 200. New England coming in off of a disappointing performance against Nashville. Philadelphia maybe getting their legs underneath them. Is Philly a clear favorite to you, Mike?
Not a clear favorite. I mean, again, they're at home; they'll be favored. I didn't really get too much of an opportunity to watch New England over the weekend. So I really only know the result and not a lot more about how that match played out. So Philadelphia's at home. They'll be favored because of that. But I think New England is, of all the teams that we have seen so far this year, and this might be controversial, I think New England is still the best team we've seen this year. I think New England is better than Philadelphia. And I know we've seen.
Wow.
I do.
Wow.
I really do. I just say that because I look at New England, best 11 caliber. Let's look at the spine of that team. Best 11 caliber goalkeeper. Center
So does
backs
Philly.
are.
Well,
I'm talking about New England. I'm talking about New England.
Okay, but okay.
Yeah.
I was going to go comparison with you because
Blake is outstanding too, but if you look at the spine of that team, New England has a best 11 caliber goalkeeper, in my opinion. Center backs are, but then
that same for both. Yeah,
I think that's a wash. I mean, wow, if you are looking at it on a head-to-head basis, maybe it is a little bit closer than. Now that I'm talking this out with you,
in the spine it is, but out wide because of the way Philly plays, that's one place New England's got a lot of an advantage. And the thing, if I was where you are and saying New England's better, I'm not. I think Philly's a little bit better, and I think I guess they're a little more difficult to beat. Is maybe the better way I'd put it. Where New England can hurt you is out wide with Tejon Buchanan, with DeJuan Jones getting forward, with Brandon Bye getting forward, and with Carlos Heel floating.
Right.
Philly doesn't have a Carlos Heel.
Right.
That's the biggest difference. I think Philly can be very disruptive in the way that they play. They do have Kasper Shabilko, who is better than Adam Buxa, and maybe more important to Philadelphia than Gustavo Bo is to New England. But Carlos Heel pulling the strings, Philly doesn't have a player like that. He can win games on his own.
Yeah, and I think that's what it comes down to for me. And Shabilko is very good. There's a lot of talent all over the park.
Yeah, it's a good matchup.
I think it's going to be fascinating. I like New England in this one. That's just a gut feeling. Looking at who has been more disruptive against Atlanta this year, I mean, we're looking at Atlanta being the common denominator. I think New England was slightly better against Atlanta than Philadelphia was. I know some people are saying, well, now, wait a minute. Philadelphia won 3-0 at Mercedes-Benz, but Atlanta United dominated Philadelphia in the first half and then panicked after they gave up a set piece. So I just that's the way it feels to me, that against a common opponent, New England looked a little bit better against Atlanta than Philadelphia did.
That might be the game that I watched tonight at the 7:30. That might be my primary one.
Great one. I'm going to watch Montreal because we have them on Saturday.
Man, why do they have to play at the same time?
That Philadelphia New England, I think that's one of the two really fascinating games of the night. I think the other one's a little bit later out west, but that's going to be a really, really good game tonight, I think.
The next one is one that I do think is fascinating and not getting a lot of the hype because of other games. Houston hosting Kansas City. And, John, I want to hear the composite numbers because BetMGM has shocked me with their numbers.
Houston in the composite a plus 135. Your draw a plus 262. Sporting is a plus 186. Mm-hmm.
That's surprising for Sporting. I'm not as high on Houston yet in this. Sporting is still really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sporting is really good and have played to maybe one or two slightly underwhelming results, and maybe that's affecting the betting public a little bit.
Got to.
I'm Jason. I'm fully with you. I love SKC on the road tonight.
Yeah,
in
I do
this
too.
matchup. But again, I think it's an interesting matchup, and I think Houston might want to play a little more open and a little faster, and I'll be curious to see how SKC deals with that. But just talent alone on paper, that's one that I think SKC can go on the road and get 3 points. I really do. I think some people are a little bit hung up on a couple draws that maybe should have been wins for SKC early in the year. They're really good. I like SKC. I think SKC, Seattle's on fire right now, but I think as the season goes on, SKC is a top 3 team in the West this year.
Yeah, I agree. John, what do you think?
Yeah, I've got to go with Sporting here in this one. I looked at this one and I'm like, ooh, I'm getting almost a plus 200, but let me double check the composite and let me see going down that rabbit hole real quick. Yeah, you're getting some places that are looking at Sporting at plus 190, almost a plus 200 for Sporting on the road going into Houston. So I got to go Sporting here.
Yeah, I got to lean that way. This next one is kind of fascinating because Minnesota's been so bad.
Yeah,
that's the one for me.
Minnesota's been so bad.
If Loons lose that tonight to Vancouver, first of all, I wonder what the reaction in the stadium will be.
Oh,
because I don't know how many people they're letting in there right now, but I'm thinking, wow, if Minnesota loses that tonight, they could be booed off their own ground. Mm-hmm. It has been a disaster up there, and I think sometimes when you feel really pressured, and they've got to be feeling pressure right now, you end up pressing and making mistakes. And this is one where I feel like it could come down to a mistake that could produce a Vancouver counter and a goal and a 1-0 win for Vancouver. This is as close to must win as it can get for the Loons, which is crazy to say on May 12th against the Whitecaps. But that's kind of where they're at right now. So I think one of two things is going to happen in this one, and this is what makes it so fascinating, guys, is Minnesota is going to press and make mistakes and lose, or they're going to absolutely shell the Whitecaps. I think it's one or the other. Because sometimes when you feel that pressure, you can respond very positively. And I think we're going to learn a lot about how this Minnesota team feels about each other and feels about their manager. Because their manager's got his back up against the wall right now. Are they going to play for him tonight, or are they going to fold?
I don't know what to
All right, so here's the numbers. Minnesota at a minus 169 in the composite. Your draws a plus 333. Vancouver north of plus 400 at 422.
Yeah, so they're loving Minnesota right now.
I'm not touching this one. I'm watching it. I ain't touching it.
I just don't trust Minnesota. How can you trust them right now? I mean, they've been very disappointing.
If I had a stinky juice box, I would find a Whitecap shirt to put on it. I'll tell you that much, because I can't trust Minnesota at this point either. The late game is another interesting set of numbers, with the San Jose Earthquakes hosting the Seattle Sounders, two of the best teams in the Western Conference, and we have a home dog.
Composite, San Jose's at a plus 175. Your draws a plus 256. Seattle a plus 145.
Whew. This is a tough one.
And this is also MLS After Dark.
Which adds to the toughness, because anything can happen at PayPal Park after dark.
It always does. We've seen it firsthand. I wonder about Seattle a little bit. I've been working ahead to next week and working on Seattle a little bit. They're not extraordinarily deep right now.
No.
And almost alarmingly not deep. And this is going to be interesting to see them playing Sunday, Wednesday, both road matches. I think they try to rotate a little tiny bit on Sunday. I don't know where that leads them going into tonight. But from a fitness standpoint and a depth standpoint, I actually think that San Jose might have a tiny bit of an edge here. So I know Seattle is on fire. They've clearly been the best team in the league through the first 3 weeks. This one feels like Quake's upset to me.
Wow.
It really does. And I know we're talking about San Jose here, but they, to me, just feel a tiny bit deeper, and they're at home. They don't have the element of trap, and that's going to be a game day trip for Seattle, I think.
Got to be.
If I'm correct.
Yeah,
so I like the Quakes. I could see it being a draw. I absolutely could see it being a draw. If Seattle goes down there and wins tonight, then they really have my attention. I mean, they have my attention now. But if they go down there and win tonight, I'm going to be really, really impressed because, like I said, they're not very deep at all at the moment. And they're finding a way through it and maybe not having to deal with some of the challenges that the CONCACAF teams had to deal with early in the season. Is helping them. I don't know. But that really stands out to me that Seattle, this is going to be a real test of their fitness over the next, 10 or 11 days. And, fortunately, Atlanta is at the end of that test.
And LAFC is next on the list for them after San Jose.
Who made that schedule? Jeez. I mean, it feels like every time Seattle is playing, they've got a tough game. So let's see. Let's see how Schmetzer approaches it lineup-wise tonight. But I like San Jose. I think San Jose can create a lot of chaos in this match tonight, and I think they have a decent chance at springing the upset.
Whew, I don't know if I'm that bold.
Mm-mm.
I don't think I can be.
Nope.
I think Seattle will do what they do here and kind of sucker San Jose in. They'll do the rope-a-dope. They'll draw the Quakes out, and they'll kill them on the break. That's just what I think Seattle is built to do. I think it'll be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it if I can stay up for it. But I think Seattle gets the win.
I think the fun thing about tonight, guys, is we have 6 games, and they're all really, really good matchup.
Yeah, these are all really interesting.
You don't really have a dud. Tomorrow, maybe slightly duddy.
Yeah,
but
duddish.
But tonight I like this. And maybe Montreal, Miami would be the least compelling of the 6, but for us here in Atlanta, for me in particular, that's an extremely fascinating match to me because Atlanta sees Montreal on Saturday, and we just saw Miami. So I think we'll get a pretty good barometer on how Montreal is at the moment. And maybe we'll get a tidbit on the broadcast, too, about Mason Toye for Saturday. I mean, the fact that Toye was listed as completely out, not questionable, makes me think that, it might be hard for him to suit up on Saturday. But I guess we'll find out. Maybe we'll get a tidbit on that tonight.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell. One question that did come in, the report from, I think it was last night in Argentina. Cesar Luis Merlo, about Lisandro Lopez considering retirement after losing his father and going back with his family. It's not really a surprise, to be honest. I would assume the team's going to give him as much time as he needs to decide what he wants to do going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my thoughts are just with him right now. It's hard for me to even think about retirement and, roster implications and everything that could potentially mean. I'm just deeply concerned for him right now and his family. And you're right. I'm sure knowing this club and the first-class way that they do everything, they're going to give him as much time as he needs. Fortunately, you do have a lot of cover there. And I will say again, putting Lisandro off to the side, I would really, really hope that at some point soon they've got to get Jackson Conway some games. And if it's not going to be with the first team, do it with the twos. Because the more this goes on, the more with Lisandro Lopez's status being in limbo, Jackson Conway becomes more of an important ingredient in this. And I think also Tyler Wolff. And Wolf needs to get himself going right now, and he can probably do so in USL.
He's had those games in USL, and Wolf hasn't looked great yet. Remember, he is kind of changing his role a bit, so that can take a little bit of time. I'm with you. I think Wolf needs the games in USL. Conway's in between, and it's a hard spot to be in because he's played, I believe, around 30 games in the USL Championship over his time there. Playing there isn't going to improve him. It will keep him sharp. He did play in the opener. He didn't make the trip to Oklahoma City the first time around. You've got a decision coming up this weekend. I would assume if Lisandro Lopez is not available, that Jackson Conway would stay with the first team and not go out to Oklahoma City. He'd have to.
Yeah.
But the
And
good
remember,
thing
you don't
about
have Philip Goodrum too for the twos.
right, yeah, but you're not thinking about it that way. You can't think about I need to take him to the twos because they don't have a player up front. Mm-hmm. Somebody will play up front, and that's the nature of the twos. But the good thing here is you do have that midweek game next week with the twos. That Conway is at home, and Conway might be on the bench on Saturday. Maybe he doesn't play. He could play Wednesday at home in a twos match. You do have to keep him fresh, but man, it's a tough spot because he's right there in between the two. I'd love to see him get an opportunity.
Yeah, me too. But again, I mean, when I read that report this morning, I just got kind of a nauseous feeling because I can only imagine what Lisandro must be feeling right now. And soccer is so secondary to all of that. So I hope he takes all the time he needs, that he's given all the time that he needs, and I'm sure he will be to make a decision on this. But my heart just goes out to him. I mean, what a devastating situation, and you know, it's really, really hard sometimes to think about the sporting element of it when someone's going through something so deeply personal like that. So just all the best to Lisandro. I mean, he's obviously someone who is extremely well respected in this dressing room, and I hope, and I'm sure he will get all the support he needs.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, as Gabriel Heinze said multiple times now when he's been asked about it, you know, he's only thinking about what's good for Lisandro the person, not worried about what he is as a player at the moment. It's about Lisandro the man and his family. So we'll keep you posted on anything that comes out of that. It's probably not going to be a quick decision, and that's what it is. That's fine. Mike, we will talk to you on Friday, but I will talk to you later this afternoon for stoppage time.
Yes, stoppage time, 2 p.m. on the 92.9 The Game Facebook page. We'll take your questions and your comments, and we'll look back at Miami, look ahead to Montreal, and I'm sure other things will probably come up too. So we'll
they always do.
We'll dance through all of that.
We will do our best to dance. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, see you guys.
Be good.
All right. I have a little bit of this. Very important tweet from the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission. Do not fill plastic bags with gasoline.
Oh, God.
That actually needed to be tweeted. Do not fill plastic bags with gasoline.
All right, so what state did this happen in to where the Product Safety Commission had to do this tweet?
I don't know, but I will repeat.
Which one do you think?
From the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission, standing for safety since 1972, do not fill plastic bags with gasoline.
That's why you get the gas can.
Yes.
If you need to do something like this.
Containers only, people. Not plastic bags.
Oh, boy.
Patrick, don't tell anybody too loudly that it was you, okay? Don't tell anybody. Don't tell on yourself in here. I don't know how you deal with that. I mean,
yes.
You fill it up like, I'm not even going to try to put my brain in that brain, and no, I got nothing.
No, why is it that Florida man popped into my head as that example?
It could be Georgia man, Alabama man, Mississippi man. They're all fair game. Ugh. Colonel, I'm going to assume, although they did not say, half full, not okay either.
Yes, I would agree. Half full, any full.
I'm going to go with not okay, but that's just me. That's not the Product Safety Commission speaking. Oh,
any full is not okay.
I just love when those tweets pop up and it's like, really? That's where we're at?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good times.
It's just, well, okay. So, Ricky Ricardo has sent a link in the Twitch pitch to a tweet where the people are allegedly filling the plastic bags with the gasoline. Apparently, the video is from 2019. It's not during this gas.
They're still reminding you, don't be that guy.
Don't fill plastic bags with gasoline. Thank you, Ricky Ricardo.
Don't be that person.
No.
All right, we got MLS Fantasy to talk about, John. There's no plastic bags of gasoline in it.
No, thankfully. All right, so let me go and find the love-hate from Ryan Walker so we can talk about that and get into this week's fantasy.
Yes. Keep clanking away.
I'm clanking away as best I can.
People can only see you clanking.
Yes, I know. Okay.
Nick Alifi adds in, do not use styrofoam either.
No, that is also a bad deal.
Don't do that.
That's bad.
Yes, Modiflow, I am disembodied today because the internet blew up my Skype video connection for some reason, and I don't understand it, and I've tried everything, so you're stuck with John for visual entertainment.
Yes. Hello.
He's going to do a dance in just a minute.
No, you don't want that. Week 5, love-hate, courtesy of ATL Ryan Walker on the Twitters and Jason Wright with a W-A-G-E-N, the commissioner of said fantasy league. Here's your love-hate for Week 5. Love, Jovan Jones at 4.8. 2% ownership right now.
All right. I'm done. That's good for me. I'm in. I'm sold because he gets Montreal, which is doable for him, and he gets Cincinnati in the second time around.
Yeah,
and you get the best of those two for him. That's the way double game weeks work now. You get the best of the two games. Yes, I love the Jovan Jones pick. I am sold. He's in my team now. He's part of Polyolandia.
Wow. Okay. Let's see. According to Ryan, going back to the well of Miami defenders, Leardam didn't play last week. Lineup dependent, but Miami's starting to look a bit thin with Figal, Leardam, and now Matuidi all banged up. If he gets the start, especially if it looks like he'll be in the midfield, likely be on his bench as a cheap plus matchup defender.
Yeah, he's in my squad at the moment.
Number 2, love, midfield. Christian Dahome from Vancouver at 7.8.
I don't know about that one.
Coming off a 2-goal performance against Montreal last week, continuing to line up as a forward, even though he has double road games this week, I have to admit I'm interested with this low of ownership, 4%. He could be a great differential pick for your bench.
Maybe. I'm not sold yet.
Yeah, the double road game scared me with anybody Vancouver because I've had Gutierrez and Rose on defense, but double road games for me, I'm like, Forward, love. Kasper Shabilko at 7.3.
Okay, sell me.
Philly in general seems to be getting a lot of the buzz this week with double home games, but for some reason Shabilko is being passed on at only 4% ownership currently. A DGW seems to be the double game week seems to be the perfect time to consider a boom bust striker like Shabilko.
I right now have Rubio Rubin, who plays Nashville. I have Chicharito, who plays Austin. And I have Cade Cowell, who gets a Seattle game and a Portland game. Those are tough matchups for Cade.
Yeah. Well, but I figure looking at MLS After Dark, 5.9, you hang on to him. I figure...
It doesn't matter if you hang on to him, really.
I've got, I went double game week with Cade Cowell, and I'm riding a hot streak, I'll admit it. So I've got Chicharito as well, along with Cade Cowell up top.
I like the Shabilko pick, but I don't know if I need to drop one of these guys to get Shabilko into my team. I don't know yet.
Ryan is saying a 2-game Kasper over a single-game Rubin.
I will consider it, Ryan.
And to Coco's point, Rui Diaz also has a double game week, and that's who I have as my third up top with a captain.
Interessante. Man, this is a tough conundrum. Okay, let's move on.
All right, so now we get to the hate for the week.
Okay.
Defender, Tanner Home at 7.6 with 22% of the folks owning him so far.
Yeah, I don't like NYC at all right now.
Came off with an apparent injury in the 74th of the
Also
Orlando
that.
game. Far too owned with so many other double game week options without injury questions. Midfielder hate. Caden Clark at 6.2
Oh,
at Philly.
okay. Yeah, that's not an easy one. I can buy that for sure.
Yeah. Been doing it all for Red Bulls to start the season, finishing out 3 of his 4 games with double-digit fantasy points. His one bust came on the road against LAG. He's a fade for Ryan on the road against Philly's stingy defense.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Forward, his hate is Cade Cowell at 23% ownership.
I know. I don't like the matchups. That's where I'm really tempted to go in a different direction, and I've got the cap to do it.
And he admits that the hate is really a tough one as he tries to talk himself out of having him as a bench option with his budget price tag and back-to-back home games. The problem for Ryan is his opponents this week facing Seattle, followed by a Portland team that will have more rest.
Yeah, I've been talked into it. Shabilko just replaced Cade Cowell in my team.
Okay.
I am not giving up on Rubio Rubin, Coco. He has led me to glory. Not really. Little bit of glory.
All right. So that's your love-hate for week 5.
There's some tough ones this time around. It feels more difficult than some of the previous weeks where I felt like there were a lot of obvious ones.
Yeah. Ropes is going to put Shabilko on the bench. Coco, Rui Diaz should be strongly considered with the double game week.
Yeah.
Ropes has Chicharito and Joseph up top.
Joseph could break out. It's a game where he absolutely could break out.
Yeah, a lot of folks like Rubio Rubin, but the notion of just the single game.
Yeah,
versus
but you
the
don't
double game.
you don't get 2 points. You don't get 2 games worth of points though. That's I think the element here in the double game week that has changed over the years. It's not 2 games worth of points versus 1 game of points. It's what are the matchups? And Nashville's given up goals this year. Now Nashville's a good defensive team, but they've given up goals this year. More so than Seattle and Portland.
Yeah.
Portland is the one that you wonder about, but do they start to get right? Now I'm really I'm perplexed.
Yes.
2 opportunities to get points, Ricky, absolutely, but I think you got to look at the matchups. That's the way I'm looking at it. Now, I mean, I'm doing fairly well this year. I'm in the 20s. I think I'm 26. Maybe I slid to 29.
Efforting.
I'm doing all right. I've had tough matchups in the Pro Rel League.
Yeah, I am 37th in the Open League.
Yeah, I'm ahead of that.
Yeah, so let's see. Trying to look for the star-crossed roster that we have here so far.
Boyolandia is the team you were looking for.
You're 30th.
30th.
Right
I did slide a little bit. I was in the 20s, I think, before the last game. The Kansas City-Austin game did not help me.
Jillian is 2
passed.
points behind you in the overall in 32nd.
Okay.
Parkey had a rough week, and he's now 44th at 193.
Okay. Polyolandia is riding high in this group of folks anyway, but there's 29 other people who listen to the show who are ahead.
Yes.
Ropes is one of them.
Yeah. All right, so here's my lineup for this week.
Okay.
I've got Brad in net against Montreal.
I think I'm going to roll with Andre Blake in net, but that could change.
Back line is Rosenberry against Houston. It's a home game.
Not bad. And Houston plays midweek, and Colorado doesn't.
And that was why I went with that one.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Antonio Carlos against DC.
Yeah, maybe. I still don't quite know how DC is going to look over time.
Yeah,
I think they can make games get weird, and I don't like defenders going up against teams that make it weird.
Yeah.
Ricky Ricardo is also beating all of us. He's 21. I'm getting close, Ricky. I'm going to catch you.
Yeah. And then my third is Brad Smith from Seattle on a double game week.
I've got Brad Smith. I was sold on Jovan Jones, and I have Brooks Lennon as my other defender. And he's creating all the chances. Can he get some assists out of these chances he's creating. It's coming. It's coming. I hope it's coming this week.
Midfield, I'm debating a 3-5-2 right now, but right now I've just got 4. I've got Ilie going up against either Houston or Vancouver. I've got Emerson Hyndman against Montreal. I've got an angry Lucas Zelarayan going up against Toronto or New England.
Mm-hmm.
And Nani going up against DC.
I've got Nani. I've got Carlos Heel. I, at the moment, have Damir Kreilach, and that one is one that I'm pretty sure I'm going to tweak.
Yeah, I thought about that one.
I have Bebelo Reynoso because I think the Loons are up against the wall. And now that I've put him back into my team, he will probably have a stinker because he was in my team, did okay, then had stinker, then got dropped, then he had a goal, then I'm bringing him back. Reynoso is going to be the one who drives me crazy this year.
Yeah. And up top, and this is where I have Busio on my bench currently, and I'm debating putting Busio in, pulling Cade Cowell out, and going with Rui Diaz captained and Chicharito up top.
I've got Rubin, Chicharito, and Shibilko up top at this point.
But my predisposition to MLS After Dark is why I'm thinking of keeping Cade Cowell in up top and going Rui Diaz captained, Cowell, and Chicharito.
It's a tough one to call. This week is a really tough one. This is maybe the most difficult week of the season so far. Because there's some tough decisions to make.
There are, definitely. And, I mean, you're sitting there and you're looking at matchups and double game weeks and trying to gauge, okay, would he be in both? What's the matchup? Is he saved? So there's a lot of thought having to go into this week.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to roll with Blake in net, Jovan Jones, Brad Smith, Brooks Lennon in the back, Nani, Reynoso, Zelarayan. You sold me on it. Carlos Heel in the midfield, Rubin, Chicharito, and Shibilko up top. That's my lineup, and I am going to captain. Chicharito.
Okay. I debated Chicharito, but I went with the possibility of the double game week, and that was why it gave me more chances to have something captained with Rui Diaz on a double game week.
Against Austin with no Alexander Ring, I'm going with Chicharito.
Understood.
Ricky Ricardo reminds everybody, pay attention to the lineups as they come out tonight. They're announced an hour before kick. It's on all your Twitter accounts for the teams. It's also on the MLS website, on the game page. You can also go to SofaScore and pull up the lineups as they're announced. Check them, because with midweek games, sometimes those lineups get funky.
Mm-hmm.
Very funky.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be ready for that. Okay. Other stuff today that we have not touched on yet. If you did not hear the line from Gareth Bale's agent, Jonathan Barnett, speaking about Gareth Bale's former manager, Jose Mourinho, it's pretty good. He said about Mourinho, he's a very successful coach, but Julius Caesar was also very good. But I don't think he would be very good with the armies now. Wow.
Good morning.
Wow, Jonathan Barnett. That is harsh. Very curious to see what Jose Mourinho has to say on his Instagram account. And he's not wrong, Nick. No, he's not wrong. That's definitely pew-pew. That's a good one. Also a good one, UEFA is considering banning for 2 seasons Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Juventus because they still have not given up on the Super League.
The Super League.
They still have not given up on this. Sign the settlement agreement. The other 9 clubs are like, yeah, we're cool. We're not doing that stupid thing.
Take the 5% penalty. We're good.
Here's a check. Yeah, we're cool. We'll be in the competition. These 3 are holding out for nothing. For nothing.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Nothing. Juventus could be playing in like the pub league in Italy and not playing in the Champions League. They might not qualify for the Champions League anyway. That's a whole nother topic. They might be kicked out of Serie A. I don't think La Liga is going to kick Real Madrid and Barcelona out, but who knows at this point? Why are they still holding on to this stupid thing on paper?
Ego and whatever. I just, I sign the damn paper. Stop it.
Esto es el fútbol. Ama al fútbol. Ama al fútbol.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Not the fake Super League. Ama el fútbol.
Oh, El Chiringuito tackling Juve would be amazing.
They got enough to deal with Real Madrid and Barcelona. They can't even. They don't even have time to get into Juventus.
Who wants to win La Liga right now?
Barcelona doesn't because they blew the lead twice yesterday. It was very bad. Who's going to stay up in Germany is another topic, and it's a weird thing today. Andreas Ernst, a journalist in Germany, is reporting that 3 Schalke players have tested positive. 4 other players are quarantined due to being close contacts. Today's match that will kick off in a little over an hour was still set to take place. I believe it is still set to take place. This is the match that gets everybody back. Remember, Hertha had a bunch of games that were postponed because of their COVID issues. Everybody will be on 32 games played. 2 rounds left after this. Schalke, adios, relegated, bye.
Yep.
Hertha is in 14th, but they're level on points with the playoff spot, 16th, Arminia Bielefeld. And they're only 2 points clear of the 17th place team who gets relegated in Köln. Things might have just fallen into Hertha's lap.
Hertha's at a minus 200. Schalke's at a plus 580.
Minus 200 feels like they're still giving money away. With 7 guys that are going to be out. Yeah, that is... I generally don't like odds that are that not appealing. That feels like it's a gift of cash.
And then after Hertha's match with Schalke today, this weekend, they host Cologne on Saturday morning.
Yeah, and that's one that, Cologne could shift everything with that. Napoli blew out Udinese 5-1. They look like they're going to get into the Champions League on merit thanks to Gennaro Gattuso, who is now being linked with a move to Fiorentina, which is weird. I hope he stays at Napoli. I hope they can figure out how to work together. 2 crazy men. Gattuso, crazy. De Laurentiis, crazy. You're best off together, folks. Come on. Come on, ADL. Come on, Gattuso. Stick together. Continue to grow this thing at Napoli. Inter might need a manager. Inter, Conte's future is uncertain. We've mentioned it on a couple of different shows. It's been reported that the ownership is asking players to give up 2 months' wages to help the team financially. The ownership's going to meet with Conte to discuss the future. Press conferences have been canceled to avoid spreading rumors. Conte's refusing to confirm that he's going to stick around. They're going to meet either after the Juventus match or after the Udinese match. If Inter wants to downsize and Conte's salary could get cut, he might walk. And other big names might walk as well. A lot of the management staff could say, yep, we're gone too. Yay for the title, boo for what could come next. Is no good.
No bueno.
Is no bueno. Gianluigi Buffon, 43 years old now?
Allegedly.
You don't believe his age? Are you questioning Buffon's birth certificate, John?
43. Turned 43 in January.
Okay. A little surprised by that. He says he is leaving Juventus at the conclusion of the season, and he is looking for an adventure elsewhere. Who's going to sign Buffon in MLS?
Miami.
He could probably walk in and start at 43.
Mm-hmm. He's apparently
John McCarthy's
Atalanta.
all right.
He's already turned down Atalanta, by the way.
Coco says NYC. No, Sean Johnson's not.
Sean Johnson's there.
No.
I was trying to find a place that he could instantly fit in. Buffon and Beckham. It makes too much sense to me.
Yeah, Miami's one that would make sense.
Apparently, according to the ESPN, Barca is keen on Buffon.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Uh-huh. According to
Why?
according to Foot Mercato.
Is he going to play for free?
Apparently.
Barca does not need to pay a guy like Buffon at 43 to sit on the bench behind Ter Stegen. You need a third goalkeeper who's going to play for free. You need a third goalkeeper who's going to say, I will buy the gear to sit on the bench to be on the team sheet. I will pay you to be in the team. You don't need to go pay Buffon? Why is Barcelona so stupid?
According to ESPN, Barca's plan could be to allow Pedro Neto to leave while bringing in a fee for the Brazilian before signing Buffon for free as a backup to Ter Stegen. It's also felt his presence could help nurture La Masia graduate keepers Iñaki Peña and Arnau Tenas, who have already featured in the squad.
You don't have time for nurturing, Barcelona. You got no money for nurturing. Put one of the La Masia goalkeepers on the bench and go like that. Welcome to the time when you have no money.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome. Sam Williamson wants Buffon in Charlotte. He'd be 44.
Yeah.
I mean,
as long as Sarri's the manager and gets the tobacco sponsorship.
Yes. Yeah. Sarri becomes the new Marlboro man. Sure, why not? La Liga will be seen by more people in the United States next year. Disney and Javier Tebas of La Liga are expected to announce this on the Spanish side. It has been reported here in this neck of the woods that ESPN will hold the English and Spanish media rights for La Liga. That will begin in August of 2021. That will break the deal that was in place, I think, through 24 with beIN Sports. $500 million in TV rights is what's being reported. The Spanish side of it is big for ESPN to port this. Really big for them. The English side, for people who want to watch and don't have access to beIN Sports, is huge for ESPN Plus. I would imagine that El Clásico will end up on ABC a couple times a year, which is awesome. Yep. Very, very cool. Sorry. Maurizio Sarri is going to be the Camel Man, Kevsey. Is that what you want to go with? I was going to give him the Marlboro Man thing because it's higher class, but I didn't know the Camel Man was something he would want to be. My bad. Yes, it does not leave beIN in a good place, Tommy. As no bueno. But it will be great for La Liga. It'll be huge for the league's presence in this country. We don't know if Ronald Koeman will be managing Barcelona on ESPN Plus or ABC or ESPN2 or ESPN or ESPN News. His future had been called into question. He's done a really good job with all the madness that has been there, but he's kind of fallen apart here at the end. 2-0 lead, 3-2 lead. They blow them both. It's a draw. He said coaches are always questioned, but I understand that after that second half, there are questions. We're disappointed, and we're wondering what happened. We have to move on and prepare for next season. There's a lot of talk in Spain that he might not to get prepared for next season.
Today at 4, Atletico Madrid hosts Real Sociedad. Tomorrow at 4 Eastern, Real Madrid is at Granada, and that will get them through match week 36.
It's not good for Barca. It seems like everybody's trying to throw this thing away. Real Madrid doesn't have any of their starting back four. Ramos, Varane, Carvajal, Mendy, all out for the last few games. Now with Mendy being out for the rest of the way, Marcelo will probably play on the left, but he couldn't train on Monday. He's questionable to play Granada on Thursday. Atleti's got to get this thing done, right?
Yeah. I'm just sure.
We guess.
It's like the main sounder for the top 3 teams in La Liga is the truck backing up. That's all that I'm hearing in the last couple of weeks in this league.
Yeah, basically. Virgil van Dijk is not going to play in the Euros this summer. He is going to take a longer-term outlook for getting right for a big year and a half starting this fall with Liverpool and then finishing 2022 with a World Cup for the Netherlands. So he is going to sit out the Euros. That does not help Frank de Boer's Dutch side in this summer's tournament. One more, the playoff matches at Bournemouth and Barnsley will be the first professional matches to have fans in the stands in England. Simon Stone reported that. Those are when, John?
Early next week, I believe. Championship. Hang on just a second. I think it's, what's the 17th? 5 days from, so Monday.
Monday. Thank you, Brett.
Monday at 1 and 3:15.
Okay. Thank you, Brett. And greetings. It's Brett. Scott Parker, Fulham wants to keep him. He's linked to Bournemouth and to Spurs. Really, Spurs? Really? Really?
Nope.
No, they can't. Can they? No. I'm not buying it.
They can get somebody better.
Can Fulham get out of being a yo-yo?
No.
They're just a yo-yo?
I think so.
Fulham and Norwich are your eternal yo-yos?
I think, yeah. I mean, Norwich said, and Daniel Farke and Timu Pukki have said in interviews this season that they've learned from their experience last year, and the lessons that they're applying from the championship season this year, where they won the championship, can apply to them staying in the Premier League. So we'll see. Because Norwich, to me, develops talent and then sells it off. I mean, you see with Aarons and Cantwell, folks that they hang on to, and then you worry that if they were to sell them on, where's the future development coming from, and can they afford losing players of that kind of an impact to stay up in the Premier League? And I think that's the question, really. I mean, they don't really drop a lot on transfers. They're looking for the loans. They're looking for the underrateds. They're looking for the Timu Pukkis that can come in from other places in Europe. They're not big splashers when it comes to trying to stay in the marketplace. They're trying to do it a little differently. And so for me, they're going to be a yo-yo until proven otherwise.
We'll see if they can solidify in the upper division. I just don't know if they ever can. So, I mean, if it's just going to be 1 year up, 1 year down, 1 year up, 1 year down, and you got a couple of them now, at some point, you've got to go for it to stay, right?
Yeah.
You think, but I don't know. Maybe it's just the nature of where those two clubs are. One last thing, injury report for tonight's game out of Seattle. Our friend Nico Moreno, who will be with us tomorrow. Nicholas Ladero listed as questionable. Jimmy Medranda listed as questionable. Josh Atencio is still out with a right quad injury. That is via Sports Pulso. We'll talk to Nico tomorrow. Got stoppage time later today, 2 o'clock, facebook.com/929thegame. Hopefully tomorrow the internet doesn't decide to leave us and mess everything up on the show. Thanks for bearing with us today. Those of you who listen to the audio-only version probably got some good entertainment as we were talking through figuring things out. Hope you enjoyed it. Talk to y'all later for stoppage time, and talk to y'all tomorrow on SDH. Mucho platiel.
Mucho platiel.